Thanks for tuning in. Ham Talk Live will be on the air shortly. Please stand by. This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Good evening, everyone. It's Ham Talk Live, episode number 216. It's a YOTA Summer. Recorded live on Thursday, June 11th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight, we're joined by Sterling Mann, N0SSC, and Jocelyn Bro, KD8VRX, and we'll take your calls live in just a few minutes. Last week here on the show, the Pearson family was here to talk about their amazing ham family. If you missed the show, you can listen anytime over at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube. And you can catch Ham Talk Live on the rebroadcast on WTWW AM. That's 5085 kilohertz on Saturday afternoons, about 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. A few announcements here. Again, we're finishing up the Ham Talk Live t-shirt order. If you would like to order one, they are $20. That includes shipping if you're in the U.S. If you're outside the U.S., we'll just add on the difference on the pricing, on the shipping rather. Go to hamtalklive.com. There's a link there for the show schedule and shirt order. So click on the shirt order, and those need to be in the next few days. The deadline is the 15th of June. So get those in. Also, don't forget, next week we have Paul Bork, N1SFC, or SFE rather, if I can get that right, coming on to do the Field Day Q&A show. And I know they put out a frequently asked questions thing today at awrl.org about some of those rule changes. And he will be here next week to talk about those rule changes and take your questions. So if you have Field Day questions, make sure you have those ready for next Thursday night, and we will do that. Also, the 100 watts to wire tune-up started just 2 hours ago, and it's on the air right now. And that goes through Sunday at 23:59. So check out your Field Day setup, and there's a team and winner-take-all prize package. So check that out at 100wattsandawire.com. All right, well, get your questions ready to go about Youth on the Air. If you're listening to us live on Thursday night, you can give us a call. After we talk a little bit, the telephone number, I'll go ahead and give it to you now so you can write it down and have it ready to go or punch it into your phone. It's 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373 is the number to call. You can also tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live on Twitter. If you're on Spreaker, you can comment, and that'll pop up on the screen here. So I'll be back with the YOTA Bunch right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Thanks for choosing Tower Electronics. How may we help you today? We have PL259s, we have in connectors, we have SMA adapters, we have BNC adapters, What can I show you today?
Where's the tower?
Well, we don't actually have a tower with us, but we have all kinds of things you can use with a tower. We have power poles, antennas, soldering irons, and meters.
Where's the tower?
Ma'am, that's the name of our company. We can't haul towers to all the Hamfests across the country that we visit, but we have almost every connector and adapter you would need to connect your antenna that's on your tower.
I don't think there's a tower back there. I really don't.
Tower Electronics. Visit us at a Hamfest near you or call 920-435-2973 or see our whole catalog at pl-259.com. Sorry, one thing we don't have is a tower.
Right now, you could be sitting on a beach, sipping a drink with an umbrella in it, and enjoying the good life. But instead, you've decided to listen to Ham Talk Live. So we thank you. And now here's Neil Rapp with more of the show.
Thanks to Scott and Jill at Tower Electronics for sponsoring the show tonight to help bring you Ham Talk Live. They'll be back out on the Hamfest Trail soon, but you can reach them right now at pl-259.com. My guest tonight, Sterling Mann, N0SSC, is from St. Louis, Missouri. He is an antenna design engineer in St. Louis. He became a ham at age 16, one of the former youth editors at ARRL, and has his own YouTube channel about ham radio. And he is president of the Young Amateurs Radio Club, better known as YARC. And Jocelyn Bro, KD8 VRX and VA2 VRX, first became interested in ham radio as a Boy Scout. He became licensed in 2013 and now holds an extra class license. He is a technical analyst and systems administrator with Vertical Solutions in Cincinnati. So, guys, welcome back to the show.
Hey.
Good evening, Neil. Thank you for having us on.
Yeah, I thank you for coming on, because I was like, wait a minute, we need to do a show.
Yep.
Thank you for coming on to the show. Well, we've got a bunch of... go ahead.
I was going to say, normally Christian, obviously he's busy with his tune-up, but normally he would be the one, like, you didn't have anybody else, did you?
Yeah, right.
He
Exactly.
Regis. He thought he was the lowest. Yeah. You know where I was headed. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Regis. Yeah, he's, in fact, I just saw him spotted a while ago, so I know he's on the air right now, but we'll have to get him to listen to the replay. Well, we've got a bunch of summer at-home activities for Youth on the Air this summer. We couldn't do the camp. We're still kind of bummed about that. Normally, about this time, we would have been scrambling to put the last few things together and going shopping for food and all that kind of thing, and just putting the final wraps on the plan. And
see what
pun
you did
intended.
There.
Yes, pun intended. And we're not. So we're going to take that week and we're going to do some special stuff, but stuff you can do at home just to kind of give everybody a chance to get to know each other a little bit and to give people some things that they can do from home that are involve ham radio and get them ready to go to camp, and other people can watch along. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. First of all, the biggest event out of these, I guess, would be the Virtual YOTA Day, and that's going to be on Wednesday, June 24th. It's going to be 6 hours. 2 to 8 in the Eastern time zone. And again, it's the YOTA principles, I guess, would be the way to say it, that the presenters are going to be young people. Now, some of the competitions we're going to have are going to be run by old geezers like me and Jocelyn, but forums are going to be youth led. So they're going to be conducting everything, and we'll be there to kind of help them out and structure everything. And it's stuff that you can do even if you don't have a radio. So we're going to get everybody on Zoom, and we're going to have like a forum, and then we're going to have a competition, and then we're going to have a forum, and then we're going to have a different competition, and we'll have a chance for them to win prizes. And if you're not one of those campers, that's okay. You can still watch and you can play along at home, and we're even going to have a prize for watching. So you can get a $100 gift certificate to DX Engineering just for watching. So that's one of the $200 gift certificates that DX Engineering is graciously provided for us to give away. And Heil Sound, talked to Bob actually again today, and he's getting ready to ship me a box of stuff. I'm still not sure quite what's in that box, but he was talking about some pretty neat stuff. So we'll give those away for the winners of the competition. And then we're going to give away one of the DX Engineering gift certificates as a door prize. And then at the end, we have a grand prize, which we're keeping a surprise, but it's a good one. And R&L Electronics has very graciously donated our grand prize. So we're really looking forward to that. So you can watch on YouTube, and that drawing is going to be at 7:45 on Wednesday, June 24th. So if you want to watch that and see who wins, that'd be a great time to show up. So Sterling, let me go to you first because you have one of these activities. Tell us a little bit about the activity that you're going to be running for this.
Yeah, so throughout the whole day, there's like you said, just this variety of, basically a variety show of different workshops and lectures and activities. I'm going to be doing one where we're going to use the online like WebSDR, Kiwi SDR system. This one is specific to Kiwi SDR because it has some really nifty tools. And if any of you are a fan of the Ham Radio Crash Course, you got a sneak peek into the hows, the nuts and bolts of it. But basically, what do you do when you have some QRM or intentional QRM, if you will, on HF? Do you spin your beam? Well, what if you don't have a beam? Do you get a triangulation from all your friends with beam antennas? Well, what if they don't have a beam antenna? Well, you could use a loop antenna. That's not too expensive, but what if you don't have an HF radio? Well, I don't know. What can you do? So there is one option. Kiwi SDR has this system called Time Delay of Arrival, TDOA, and all within your browser, all within the Kiwi SDR kind of framework. And there's lots and lots of receivers out there that are GPS disciplined, and they're very accurate. And we'll get into why that's important in a minute. They let you pick a set of receivers, and they will focus on a specific signal that you choose, and it will do its darndest to find the location of that signal using multilateration. And that's just math, meaning it detects the time delay of arrival of that signal at each of these stations. And the time is very important. That's why they're GPS disciplined. They're GPS timed so that you can get a very accurate time of when each part of that signal, almost like a photon of all of the signals, arrive at each of those stations, which gives you an idea of where that station lies or that interference lies. And this comes in handy for a lot of things, not just finding intentional or unintentional interference, but also search and rescue. SOSs, if you will. So it'll be a real-time activity. Everyone gets on Kiwi SDR. There's plenty of stations for everybody. We might do it in like a couple minutes. It only takes about 30 seconds to do the whole run and get a location. And the location, the problem is the competition we're going to have is that it's not exact. It gets you close, but not perfectly close. And so whoever of the groups of people or individuals, rather, I guess, we can probably do groups or do individuals, up to them or up to us. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Whoever gets closest wins the prize. and you'll be surprised at how far apart it's like. I bet you it's going to be something like closing your eyes and throwing a fistful of darts at a dartboard, and whoever gets closest to the bullseye wins. Because sometimes the algorithm is so fiddly. We're going to try to have a station out in the center of the United States so that you can, because one of the caveats is you can only do TDOA or multilateration if the signal is basically being enveloped by these stations. So you can draw a circle around that signal of these stations that are listening to that signal, that interference or whatever. And so somewhere in the middle of the U.S. So if there's any volunteers out there who want to do like a 30-minute long newsline broadcast, for example, would be the perfect opportunity over single sideband, or even an AM broadcast would work even better if there isn't a contest or a sprint going on. But it's Wednesday, so it should be fine. Otherwise, we'll have to find a broadcast station or a long rag chew or something like that to find and locate. But I'm not sure if the hams down the street want their location published on the internet. So it'd also be really nice to have that secret operator, so we know behind the scenes. Oh yeah, he's exactly at this place, and whoever gets closest to there, versus trying to find a call sign and going by QRZ. So. There's a shout out to volunteers there, but hopefully we'll find somebody out there. So that's it in a nutshell. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love the idea. And again, you can do it from home with a computer.
Yeah, you don't need anything. It's free. You don't even need a fast processor. All of the processing, the math is done on the cloud, on somebody else's computer. It's just like a fox hunt too. This is because we were going to have a fox hunt and an ARDF competition at the real event in 2021, but this kind of, I think it meets. It's the next generation of fox hunting, if you will. More stations out there means more accurate multilateration on the HF bands. This won't work too well for VHF or UHF just because there's not enough stations out in the world to get a couple miles distance, because you're going to need to be a lot closer in for that for VHF UHF line of sight signals. But since HF goes across the ionosphere and across the world, it lets us do that. So it'll be fun, I think.
Yeah, and if only we had that back in the days of the Russian woodpecker, when it was this big radar, and it would just suddenly appear somewhere, and you'd be talking, and all of a sudden you let go of the mic, and it's like, and nobody ever knew where it was coming from. And so if we only had that back then, we'd find out where Chernobyl was. But anyway, so if you're interested in that, again, the campers are going to be interacting on Zoom and figuring this out, and there's going to be a competition, and they can win prizes, but you can watch. Okay, so just go to the Youth on the Air YouTube channel, and you can watch. So if you're interested in this, you can watch. You can follow along just like you were in the Zoom chat, and you can try to compete. You just won't win a prize, but if you're interested in this, you can watch it too, and you don't have to be 25 or under like our YOTA people. So you'll have a chance to do that, and you get a prize if one random person watching is going to get a $100 gift certificate.
Well, that's true. Yeah, you have to show up now. And you can always practice too. You can do it right now if you go to Kiwi SDR, or if you look up the Ham Radio Crash Course's most recent video on TDOA. A really good station to test that with is the WWV time signal, since we all know where that is. There's also several broadcast stations on 40 meters around the U.S., the southern part of the United States, and I think there's a couple in North Carolina or South Carolina, one of the Carolinas, maybe Virginia, over there, that will serve as, and plenty in Europe too. There's a lot of European QESDR stations, so you can always practice and hone in your skills before prime time comes.
I know another event that we're going to have. I was just talking with Audrey K and 4BUN last night about doing a balloon launch, and she's got some stuff about that and tracking it on APRS. And we have some other things. We don't want to give everything away here, but these are the kinds of things that we're having the kids have a chance to do. And again, the kids are doing a lot of the presentation of all of this stuff as we develop this program. And the camp, we want them involved even more in the planning of this. That's coming later, but a lot of that presentation is being done by them. Well, we have some other things going on. We also have a special event. We were going to run W8Y all throughout the week of camp. We are still going to do that. So you can work W8Y anytime between June 21st and June 26th, which is when we were supposed to be at camp. And the young people who want to do this will take turns operating as W8Y from wherever they are. So W8Y is going to be in many different locations, just not all at the same time. So we will break up that week into sections, and different people will be operating from different places. And those campers have the option to sign up for that, and then we'll make a schedule out. Marty in N1C is actually going to make that schedule out and figure that out. So we will have a special event on, and we'll have a QSL card that you can get. We'll get QSLs printed up after the fact and get those sent out. So you can work our special event station. And again, the campers get to operate the special event station. Then we have a couple of things for field day. And we have the field day club entry, which is pretty easy. And this is for anyone who's 25 or under. We're giving you the option of putting in Youth on the Air as the club entry on your field day score. Now, we'll talk more about this next week when Paul Bork is here, but this year there's a couple of rule changes for field day. Home stations, Class D stations, can work other Class D stations. Normally you couldn't do that, but because of the pandemic, that was a rule change. And then also, there's going to be a club entry. So a lot of clubs aren't going to have their, club gathering. So what you do is you work as a home station, and everybody in the club works as a home station. And then you put in what club you're with, and there will be a combined score for that club. So what we're going to do is we're going to combine all the youth scores. So, you don't have to do this if you're youth and you're already working with another club and you want to put yours into your local club. That's great. Not a problem. But we are going to offer that option of putting Youth on the Air in as your club option. And we kind of just want to see, how many points we can get with all the youth around the country. So we're going to do that. Now, one thing about the special event and the field day events is that you do have to have a U.S. license. And so we've got 2 or 3 of our people who aren't going to be able to do this. We do have one in Mexico, but he has a U.S. license, so he's okay. But we do have, I think, 3 others that won't be able to participate in these. But anyway, we'll have that field day entry. So again, if you're 25 or under, put Youth on the Air in on your club if you don't have another club. And or you just want to do that if that's your preference, and put that into the club score. But then we're also going to have a remote station available for field day itself. We're going to run W8Y, but from a remote. And Jocelyn is the guy that has set all this up. We were playing with it here a couple of days ago, and it's a really slick setup. So, Jocelyn, tell us about operating field day from a remote.
Well, thank you, Neil. And first going back, so we looked into getting the remote, or a remote possibility, because we understand that not all campers may have an HF rig available to them. So as you said before, if they want to run their own field day and they want to use Youth on the Air as the club call, perfect. We'd love it. It helps us out. But if you do not have HF capabilities and you would love to take part in field day, then we've got this remote that was graciously provided by Jay. Its call sign's K4ZLE, and he has a decent. Well, it's better than my station, put it that way. I believe is the station, the remote we're going to be using as a tri-bender, so beam, so 10, 15, and 20 at 70 feet, a 40-meter two-element beam, and an 80-meter sloper. So those are not too bad, not bad for a remote station, put it that way. So, we installed the software, and just to make things easy for everybody, we all know that sometimes installing software on different computers and things can get a little quirky. Do you have a logging program? So to alleviate a lot of the logistics, what we've done is we're going to do a remote desktop. So we've got a virtual server running all the software, and what the campers that want to operate for field days and field day remote will do is basically log in at their scheduled time, and then they'll be able to pull up the interface and be able to control the radio, control the rotator, so they can spin the beams around as needed, and make some QSOs. The logging software is already there, so they'll be able to log that and take part in field day that way. I know it's going to be a little bit more hoops to jump through in terms of you're trying to manage a software radio and the logging software, so there may be some switching between applications, but it still gives you the possibility of getting on field day and doing it with the special call sign Whiskey 8 Yankee. So that'll be interesting. So we're looking forward to testing it out a little further. I think the prelims that Neil and I have done are pretty good. Looks like it's promising, and we'll just iron out all the small details as they come along.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this, and Jay is an accomplished de-expeditioner, and he's got quite a setup there. It may not be the biggest contest station on the planet, but he's got a nice setup there, and we're very thankful for his support. He was going to take care of our antennas at the hotel for the physical camp, and so we'll have him get that going next year, and we appreciate his support with this remote. So we will have W8Y on the air for field day. So that's another thing that's coming up. And then the other thing is YOTA Online. And this is we're not doing this. This is Youngsters on the Air, which is the original, the one we're copying everything from over in Europe. And they have a monthly get-together for an hour online. And the next one is actually going to be the day after our virtual YOTA day. So that's going to be on Thursday, June 25th, and that's at 1800 UTC. And you can check out ham-yota.com to check out YOTA Online. So those are the things that we have. We're going to come back and we're going to take your calls, and we'll talk more about all these summer activities right after this word from ICOM America right here on Ham Talk Live. Get out and be active with ICOM's new IC705 and its optional multi-function backpack. The IC705 is your perfect QRP companion, as you have base station features and functionality at the tip of your fingers in a portable package covering HF 6 meters, 2 meters, and 70 centimeters. This compact rig weighs in at 1 kilogram or just over 2 pounds, with RF direct sampling for most of the HF band and IF sampling for frequencies above 25 megahertz, and a large 4.3-inch color touchscreen with live band scope and waterfall. It runs 5 watts with a battery, 10 watts with a power supply. It has sideband, CW, AM, FM, and full D-Star functions, a micro USB connector, Bluetooth, wireless LAN, micro SD card slot, integrated GPS with antenna and GPS logger, and the speaker mic comes standard and supports QRP operations. The perfect accessory for your IC705 is the optional backpack, LC192, with a special compartment for your IC705 and room for accessories for SOTA activations or just a day in the park. Visit ICOMAmerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
Join the conversation. Give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, the number to call is 859-982-7373. Or, if you'd rather type than talk, tweet us at Ham Talk Live. Now, here's Neil Rapp with more Ham Talk Live. What's that call sign again? WB9VPG. That's right, Delium 9 Bante Pterodactyl Gnat, right?
Thanks to ICOM America for sponsoring Ham Talk Live. Make sure you check out all their cool stuff at ICOMAmerica.com/amateur. Ham Talk Live is on the air every Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time at hamtalklive.com. Be sure to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now is the time for your calls. So if you have a question or a comment, give us a call at 859-982-7373. Again, 859-982-7373. Now is the time to call. You can also tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live over on Twitter. And if you're listening to us on WTWW or on the podcast edition, you won't be able to reach us at the phone number or on Twitter because we're not there at the moment. It's Thursday night, about 9:32 Eastern Time at the moment. So let's get back to our guests here. And I know we had somebody trying to call in earlier, so if you were, give us a call again. It's 859-982-7373. Well, that's a rundown of what's going on here, and so we've got a lot of stuff going on here in a couple of weeks. But we're also working on finalizing the dates for YOTA Camp 2021, and we're really looking forward to that. So, Sterling, what are your thoughts here on the camp next year?
Oh, I'm excited. I can't wait. Even though I'm an old man, relatively, it's given us a little bit more time to think everything through and make it perfect. And it looks like most of our people are going to come in, and I think we have just another 365 days to hype it up and get people more excited. I have noticed we've taken a breather because like many people know, I've been going through a lot. And so it's been pretty fortunate in one way, but then, in another way, we're still really sad it's not happening right now. But I can't wait for it. I think it's going to be a game changer for youth and ham radio for sure. And it's going to, especially on this side of the pond.
Yeah, I had a chance to actually record a little bit for youngsters on the air. They have a presentation that's going to be on the virtual version of Ham Radio Friedrichshafen, and we talked a little bit about that. And so if you get a chance, you can check that out and watch it. They're going to have a virtual event as well, since Friedrichshafen had to be canceled. So you can check that out. Jocelyn, your thoughts on next year?
Well, I think Sterling summarized it pretty well. I think we're all excited for next year. We're all kind of disappointed that it's not in a few weeks. We're going to have to wait a little longer. But as Sterling also mentioned, I think you're juggling a bunch of stuff right now. So I think you'll appreciate the breather, and it gives us more time to get everything set properly and be ready to go for next year. But yeah, a little bit of a letdown, like a lot of people around the country. There's some unforeseen events, and we're going to make best out of it, and just gives us more time to get ready and knock it out of the park next year.
Yeah, there's been a lot going on. The pandemic has caused a lot of changes and a lot of roadblocks on things that shouldn't have been that difficult. And so, yeah, I actually am appreciative of a little more time to spend on other things like moving and getting married and that kind of thing. Finding a job, all that fun stuff, and we've had to move the wedding, we've had to move the rehearsal, it's just one thing after another, and so it is kind of nice to have a little less going on here in a couple of weeks, and can spend some time getting all of that put together. But really, everything is in place. It's just a matter of holding on to everything that we had planned and holding on to all the stuff and making it work. So,
yeah.
It's it is what it is. I'm so disappointed that we're not doing this, because it's something that we've all put tons and tons and tons of time and effort into, and a lot of people have graciously donated to the cause, and we were just all excited and ready to go. But we'll make it, and it'll be a great event.
Yep.
Sterling, go ahead. If I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say, like, there's. It doesn't seem like we don't have any changes. Everything that was on the schedule is still on the schedule, same hotel. The dates are in flux. I think those are going to change from year to year, I believe. But in terms of, Kings Island and Dave & Buster's and the ARDF and all the other activities, the Voice of America Museum, all of that still is in place. So just in a holding pattern.
Yeah,
you're right.
It is just a holding pattern. Well, if you have a question about any of this or comment, give us a call, 859-982-7373, 859-982-7373, or tweet us. It's at Ham Talk Live. Or if you're on Spreaker, leave us a comment, and we'll say good evening to Chris, AA4CB, who is listening in live tonight, and also Andy. Good to see you in here as well. And we'll say hello to Philip. Phil, I noticed Philip sent me a message on Telegram here over in Germany. He is the public relations coordinator for Youngsters on the Air. And so I couldn't respond to his message, but hi, Philip, and thanks for listening. And he said, great stuff we're planning. So that's good to hear from the people who started this whole thing in the first place. So, Sterling, you experienced that. You went over to Austria along with Sam in 2016.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of comparisons between that event and what we're doing.
Yeah, essentially, the event over there is a yearly summer camp. Lasts for 7 days. I think it's like 6 days when you're actually on site. Everyone in each member society sends their contingent. Ours is a little different because our member societies are fewer. Like they have many more smaller countries like we have states, but we're also bringing in people from South America, Central America, Mexico, Canada, and inviting everyone to join in our region too. But yeah, it's almost the same thing. I think over in at least when I went in Austria, there's this youth culture. There's this different kind of mentality, I guess. We were at a youth hostel. It was a really nice place, really like extravagant almost. But we got to do a ton of events and bringing radios everywhere we went. Hike a mountain, soda. Go into an ice cave, ICOTA, ice caves on the air. And do some like tunnel, see how radio waves are affected inside caves. They have ham mesh or ham net, which is they're almost like completely envelops the whole country of Austria and Germany and France, like the centroid of Europe in mesh networking. Got to play with that. But over here in America, things are a little different. But I think we're, like you said, stealing their ideas, and we're going to try to grow that kind of culture over here and create this, international sort of, what would you say, fever for ham radio from the young people.
Yeah, I know one of the concerns that you and Sam brought up first was, well, we don't, how do you stay at the museum? Well, you can't. And so, how do you do that? And so, well, we got a hotel right across the street. So,
not too far away.
We were able to, we had a little bit of changes that we had to make. And it was just a lot of the legalities and insurance and all that kind of stuff. They were, when we asked about it, it was like, what? You have to do all that? It was like, yeah, we have to do all of that over here. So, it was a lot more red tape to go through. But we were finally able to bust through it and make it go. Now, another thing that we have accomplished is we worked with the Youngsters on the Air program over in Region 1, as well as in IARU Region 3, which is Oceania. So that's New Zealand and Thailand, Japan. Those are kind of the three big areas of YOTA activity in Region 3 right now. But we were able to do this December YOTA month. And Jocelyn, I know you were able to kind of see what was going on with that, and I think there was some activity in your basement from that. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. We had a bunch of youth around the U.S. that signed up to basically move the call sign around for YOTA month, and my son Chris was one of the operators, and I know he did it for a little while, and I think all the operators basically did as best as they could, and it was pretty interesting. I think when people hear there's a youth on the air, I think they gravitate. It's kind of the plus 10 dB effect that normally the ladies have. Same thing with some of the younger kids. Now, as he's growing older, obviously his voice is changing, and I remember telling him a while back to enjoy that high-pitched voice while he could, because he was like, I don't know what your problem is now breaking pileup. It's easy. But now he's one of us. But yeah, no, I think it was a good success, and we had I can't remember how many operators we had, but we had a fair amount, and I think it was fun, and everybody had a good time doing it.
Yeah, I think we had, I want to say a little over 20 operators maybe, and worldwide it was over 100,000 queues, so it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So those are some of the things that are going on with youth on the air, and if you want to see more about that and read up on that, see some of the video and some of the information, go to youthontheair.org, and that's where you'll find all that information. We also try to keep a list of on-air activities of anything that's going on in the Americas. So in North, Central, South America, we're starting to build that, getting information from all around the Western Hemisphere is a little challenging, so we're a little slow in getting that, but we're trying, and we're working away at it, trying to add all of that. So if you're aware of a youth program that's not listed there, let us know, and we can get that added in. We're not adding nets because ARRL already has that, so we have a link to them. But any on-the-air activities that has a youth component, we want to list that so people can find it. And, it's not just about what we're doing with the camp and with YOTA Month and with YARC and the youth contest program, but it's also about making everyone aware of other youth activities that are out there. And so we want to get those listed as well. Well, the clock is quickly turning, and we're just about out of time. So I will give it out for final thoughts here. So, Sterling, you want to go first?
Sure. I have to give my always shout out to the Young Amateurs Radio Club. If they're listening, I sent the link in there, mentioning other youth groups out there. One of the largest ones right now that I know about, besides youngsters on the air over in the EU, is YARC, Young Amateurs Radio Club. They have a Discord server and a couple thousand people, chilling and hanging out. They occasionally create activities. Had a big rift in the community and then got all settled back out again. And so eventually we'll be seeing a lot more like activities and contests. Like we really want to do some more contest adjacent, like not create our own contests, but have like different categories and sub-contests and ways to get people who don't have HF radio. That seems to be like one of the biggest issues in youth and ham radios. Like HF radio is where it's at. So what if you don't have an HF radio? Well, we've got some options out there. So, but yeah, I'm excited for 2021, and I'm excited for this next couple of weeks from now. Getting this online, everything's coming online. It's kind of like the thing you say, like, "Oh, we did all this work, everything's coming online," but now it's like literally, literally online. So,
yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to sit from the comfort of my cold office with my air conditioner and instead of walking out in the hot heat of the Ohio summer. So,
yeah, absolutely. It is nice to be able to do that. Well, Jocelyn, your final comments for tonight?
Well, I think as everybody has said, we're really looking forward to all this effort for the online and seeing it happen here very shortly. I think it'll be fun for everybody. If anybody out there knows of any youth that might be interested, please pass the website along or tune them into this show, even as a podcast, so they can kind of hear what we're going to do. There's prizes. That's usually a good thing for kids. And like I said, it should be good. And getting ready for field day like everybody. I think this year we're going to run it out of the house. So anyways, that, Neil, I'll turn it back to you.
All right, and we do want to thank Heil Sound and DX Engineering for donating the prizes for our competition and our door prizes, and a big thank you to R&L Electronics for donating the grand prize, which is still a mystery. I'm still not letting it out. It's actually sitting in my site at the moment, but I'm not telling anybody. So it's here. So we're going to give that away, and again, tune in 7:45 p.m. on Wednesday, June 24th, over on our YouTube channel, Youth on the Air, and you will be able to watch that giveaway, and somebody's going to be really excited. I'll just say that. So that's going to be a wrap for this week's edition of Ham Talk Live. Thanks to my guests, Sterling Mann, N0SSC, and Jocelyn Bro, KD8VRX, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening and calling in. And we invite you back next Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, when Paul Bork, N1 SFE, will be here to take your questions about Field Day 2020. For a list of all of our upcoming guests, you can find that at hamtalklive.com. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. That's the best thing you can do. That way other people can find this program faster. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.